Hey y'all, 3Xs, episode 10. I can finally fit the amount of episodes on 2 hands. That is a serious accomplishment for me, and I hope y'all have been appreciating and enjoying what I've been doing, investigating these cities and these new sounds. We've got some new things this week. I've got some new mic, make our sound a little better. I've got for our YouTube channel some better lighting. So hopefully we can see our music as well as we can hear the music. But this week we're going to go to Phoenix, Arizona, Valley of the Sun. And things are getting a little hot. After all, it's a city literally in the middle of a desert. Literally hell on earth. It can be one of the hottest cities in America on any given day, and also one of the coldest on any given night. That's how extreme the climate is. So let's ask the question, why would anyone subject themselves to such uncertainty? Well, it's because the music there is so diverse and uncertain. Might be something to that not having a daylight savings time thing. But I think that's really the trick to Phoenix. It's a total mixed bag. That, I think, bodes very well for a music scene, with a bit of unexpected influence seemingly coming out of nowhere. I mean, this place has sheltered legends like Alice Cooper, Waylon Jennings, and all other sorts of talent. I mean, what is even Phoenix except for a place that has grown so far out that it's basically one giant suburbia? Well, let's start with the fact that it hosts one of the world's most popular outdoor venues. It was even recently featured on NBC's July 4th special, the Am-Chin Pavilion. It's everything a music lover could want. Basically like a Vegas nightclub, but in Phoenix. Not that Vegas is that far away. Palm trees, serious lineup power. And the cool thing is they got these speakers that kind of stick up and they don't even look like a cactus on the middle of the stage. So it's almost like Phoenix hallowed ground. They've implemented the music to look like the scene. Genius. Jimmy World's gonna play there. They're a local band. Beck, Cage the Elephant, Jimmy Buffett, Meek Mill and Future. And even though he's saying no more tours, you know the legendary Ozzy Osbourne's gonna have one hell of a time in Phoenix. Maybe those cacti are really just giant magnets sent by the government to attract serious talent. I'll spark that conspiracy. No more Area 51 stuff. After all, Arizona is no stranger to its conspiracy theories. They've got a ton of Air Force bases there, and it's highly suspect. But as I mentioned in one of our earlier episodes when we visited Denver, sometimes the outdoors just aren't your thing. A lot of the time, and especially in a place like Phoenix, I'd much rather have my air conditioning. I'd also like a little bit of class. After all, the desert dirt is just a bit unrelenting. So the Van Buren is where you go. I really can't tell if this is a dance hall, a patio bar, but it looks like a mecca situated somewhere in the city. It's a pretty big venue, but it looks and feels like a small venue. Lots of space to work with wherever you want to go. Beautiful upstairs to look down. You can have a breather outdoors, or you can get right up to the stage. Sometimes, even just like Billy Bob's Texas and Fort Worth, they bring the stage up front so you can have an even more intimate feel with the music. I mean, you can absolutely move around in this place with musicians like LP, Common, Taj Sultana, Blue Oyster Cult, Tank and the Bangas, even Thievery Corporation. They know how to throw down. Still, it may be a little overwhelming for some, and sometimes it's best to chill out and enjoy yourself in a much smaller venue. But I need to send up a little prayer because this place just closed down and it absolutely eats me up. Remember when I talked to you about the convent of NBC's Songland? That it piqued so much curiosity about the process and getting your ideas into the right hands? Well, the listening room in Phoenix was that spot. It was just a 4-walled room with a very small stage, no-nothing bands. And the thing about this place that I really respect is that it kept booked. I think mostly because musicians are just absolute opportunists. But I think you can appreciate the gamble to take the time to listen to raw sounds of what is barely a stage. I mean, you may be able to find a diamond in the rough, and Phoenix no longer has that. It's a shame. More of these places should be open. I mean, it was an absolute oasis in the desert. So, moment of silence. Still, the place has an amazing array of venues. Blues, pop, guitar, country. Anything you're looking for, you can find. You just have to do a little digging. Honestly, whatever it is you're looking for, with the exception of cooler weather during the day, you'll probably be able to find it in Phoenix. Never mind the fact that they've hosted a numerous amount of Super Bowls, and they're basically Los Angeles without the coast, Las Vegas without the hangover. This is a serious spot for discovery, enjoyment, relaxing, and hopefully staying away from all the politics at the border. So I think we need to kick off this episode with a song completely dedicated to the city that we're reviewing. Phoenix by 2000-Foot Turtle. Now, I'm not necessarily surprised to find some good blues rock in this city, but when you consider the fact that this was such a stronghold for country legends, Waylon Jennings, now Dierks Bentley, and especially when it's only days or less drive away from Los Angeles, the mecca of rock and roll, you begin to understand that maybe I'm just a little outside of my element. And if Los Angeles has had any influence on me and cinema has had any influence on me, they make me believe that driving through a desert should include some serious sounds like these. You're not going to hear rap. You're not going to hear bagpipes. You're going to hear blues. You're going to hear rock. You're going to hear country. But to utilize distortion so well and to make you sound so similar to the Black Keys is a real trick. At least without falling down into the grunge pathway or another thing altogether. And what 2000-Foot Turtle is doing is absolutely blasting that vibe across the universe. It's that loud. It's got a semblance of rockabilly. It kind of hits square in the jaw and eats away like acid at your eardrums. Plus, the distorted vocals make it seem like a mirage or the vast nothingness of Phoenix. But it's really not angry. I don't want that to be confused with distortion. It's perhaps even light. Just a special few layers making for a mean, itchy rock anthem. You can definitely feel the heat in this song from the Valley of the Sun. Even though the drums don't play too much of a role in this song, they're smart. They get the jam started with a rolling hit, easy cymbal claps, kind of entices you into this easy road-heavy dust, if I can make that analogy. And it even breaks out to have a little fun with some heavy-hitting beats. Open rings, just soulful easiness. And they've got some other jams that are absolutely out of this world, but I'd be doing an injustice reviewing Phoenix without highlighting the one song that embodies that state. The air, soul, and yes, the hot, hallucinating spirit. Phoenix by 2000-Foot Turtle. Perpetual Youth by Talia Roya. To say that this caught me off guard would be an absolute understatement. I'm definitely attracted to guitar and drums, that rock and roll vibe. But sometimes I forget how amazing pop vocals are in their own right. And that's truly who Talia Roya is. A pop singer sunken into, I don't know, is it an indie, rock, jazz, pop band? It's really hard to put a label on. But as far as the vocals, they're clearly pop. And in the song Perpetual Youth, you get this teenage angst right from the beginning. It's benign, but it's softened with the easiness of her outstanding vocals. She has a slightly raspy pitch, but with a shining emotion ringing hold. Some of the notes just leave you with feelings of sadness, triumph, perseverance, but ultimately just wow. All of this in the center of an absolutely phenomenal collection of piano, drums, echo effect guitar. You get the feeling of a jazz room or some sort of laid-back listening room, but it's certainly not a mainstream recording, even though it has all the tenets of something special to make a splash somewhere. And at least for this song, Perpetual Youth, and Talia Roya's vocals, I could see an absolute collaboration between her and Mr. John Legend. She's just that good. Although, if we're going to talk rock and roll in Phoenix, we've really got to mention Alice Cooper. We are not worthy. We are not worthy. We are not worthy. Something about Alice Cooper makes you think forward and backward at the same time. He is classic rock. And he's also classic entertainment. For someone who is so edgy for his time, even getting some airtime with the Wayne's World movie, hence my reference, and then becoming such an advocate in the modern times as a bona fide philanthropist. He's made a name for himself that crosses all generations. And with this song, School's Out, he's created something that can even be sung till the end of time. At least until education stops, and your guess is as good as mine towards when that happens. Which I'm betting on pretty much never. And until that happens, this will be an anthem for every student yearning for their time off. You've probably heard it on every back-to-school commercial. Every beginning of summer commercial. Kids can relate. But is this too niche defined? And does that mean that this song can't relate for anything but hating school? Which I think begs the question, does School's Out by Alice Cooper suck? First, for its cultural impact, clearly it has infiltrated the education system, making itself known as an agent of rebellion from guidelines, mediocrity, a general lack of freedom that school offers. Does a great job of typecasting the system and finding a way to get everyone involved in the fun of the upcoming summer months. But does it mean anything else beyond that? I mean, do you really feel something with this song other than maybe 1 or 2 days a year when you're really excited for summer? I mean, imagine listening to Flogging Molly only on St. Patrick's Day. Toby Keith only on 4th of July. You know, they may be songs that you sing till the end of time itself. But for the other 364 days a year, it's just another song. So that's the thumbs down for me, dog. Second, this is probably one of the few that I'll review that was actually right in the thick of it when Bob Dylan was at the thick of his. So, realistically, would Bob Dylan have done this track? And clearly that answer is no, because Alice Cooper definitely stole it. Being the rebel that he is, this was a stage-heavy, made-for-Alice Cooper song. No more pencils, no more books, no more teachers' dirty looks. I don't really think that fits the Bob Dylan rebellion. Out for summer, out till fall, we might not come back at all. Just not up his alley. All Alice Cooper on this one. Third, every back-to-school playlist in the world should be jamming this song to the high heavens. Classic build-up, choral yelling, it makes it a genuine treat to the ears. And an absolute crowd pleaser. My dad has this on a couple of his playlists. Not even back to school, and he hasn't been in school for like 30 some odd years. So it could even be made for a family road trip. So in a bit of contradiction to the first criterion, on it being too niche that it can't get outside of the other 364 days, you're still going to hear it on those 364 days. Someone's going to enjoy it enough that it carries through. And the fact that this song is so transparent, crosses generations, and it can break out of that mold for certain playlists, for road trips, what have you, that holds the key to its redemption. So yes, this song may be a little overplayed between the months of May and June, and sometimes again in August or September, especially when everyone's heading back to school and not wanting to deal with it. But the fact is that it's a classic for a reason, and the ultimate tell is that you know the words. School's out for summer. Plus, I bet you'll air guitar like mad the whole time. So I've already told you about some of the legendary acts that have come through, one being Mr. Waylon Jennings. Now, being a Texan, I'm going to keep him to myself, but I will at least admit that he is a more than occasional tourist to the Phoenix area. He did get a little bit of his start there, but he's Texan. Gotta hold that strong. So when I make that reference, I want you to understand that it is no surprise that there's good country music here. And I think Jared and the Mill, with their song Keep Me Going, really make a name for themselves in a way fairly strikingly similar to the red dirt country scene in Texas. What I mean by that is that they use a traditional country sound to move towards a new age rock and roll fusion. Both genres together. Where they set themselves apart from the Texas red dirt country scene, obviously other than their roots in Phoenix, is that they have an almost easy Americana vibe, at least in this song. And it almost builds towards a Mumford & Sons type mandolin strum of the chorus. Smart handoffs between the bass guitar, bass drums, and an open acoustic guitar at the front with impeccable lyrics. It's got all the classic, traditional, amazing makings of a good Americana song. And Keep Me Going has become a decent popular anthem. As of this review, it's surpassed 1.7 million streams on Spotify, which doesn't even hold a flame to their other next big hit, Messengers, which has surpassed 2.8 million streams. But the key to the sound here is that they take that country sound and rip them into rock and roll with an easy listening frame. And I think Keep Me Going is a better written song because of the various elements and how it builds. Not to say that the rest of their catalog isn't worthy, but for its easy listening and attractive genre sounds, I've been jamming to the song all week. Keep Me Going by Jared and the Mill. I love a good flashback to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And one of the songs that's consistently played throughout that film is Donkashane by Wayne Newton. Did you know he's from Phoenix? That's why we're reviewing him. Of course. And I mean, the song is played like 1,000 times in the film, and to that we say, thank you very much. But little known secret, director John Hughes hated the song when he was in high school and decided to plug away at it in the film to add to the annoyance of high school. Maybe even to state how overplayed high school drama can be. But I like to think that the meaning of the song means so much more than just being annoying or thanking a lover for their time in your life. So to that end, I should ask, is it truly great? So first, I think if you're going to ask if this song is catchy, you need to have a serious conversation with yourself whether or not you are a human or you are a robot. Seriously. Robots like beep bop, beep boop type music. Humans can appreciate class. So I think in the easy intro with lasting vocals, just a very gala type feel, it makes you want to put on a tuxedo, use the words like indubitably and righto. Even if you don't think it's catchy, let's at least call it infectious. And it has that class to it. And it'll get stuck in your head and you'll start to question whether or not you can speak German. And then you go and try to have a conversation with people in German, but all you can say is thank you very much. That's Donkashane. Sorry about the tangent. It sums it up. It's catchy. Thumbs up number one. Second, I think this plays along with the idea that you would be in the company of some, let's say, more outstanding people. Yes, classy, like I've already stated. The song is to score you some major points on a gala-like playlist. It's got the orchestra. Yes, in Vegas they call these bands. An absolute cornucopia of instruments. Classic voice using intelligent verbiage. Tone, pitch, make a sincere collaboration of sound. No, it's probably not going to be on the bar hits list. DJ Request Who Takes No Request will not be playing this song. But it's sure to get older generations going on a road trip mixtape. Maybe it can give you some uplifting emotion to the vapid day you're experiencing at work. Thank you very much. Third, I think there's a certain argument to be made that this song does and doesn't fit a genre stereotype. Like with other Showtime singers, such as Dean Martin or Tony Bennett, maybe even an argument for the new age and being Michael Bublé, Wayne Newton employs a very low-key romp composition, while also catering to the jazz class scene. From the perspective of this song on a strictly skeleton standpoint, yes, this isn't much different from its scene counterparts. But where it really flexes its muscles is in the verbiage and the key change. If you have to look twice to make sure you spell Donkey Shane correctly, there's a good argument to be made that this song is anything but straightforward in this business. And the fact that the song makes you think twice is certainly new for the scene. Makes you think even more about the song. The key changes throughout keep you on your toes, and certainly the different verbiage has you thinking whether or not you can sing the song to full force. So all three criteria are in check here. John Hughes may not like the song, you may not like the song, but this isn't a knock on the work as a whole, especially how it compares to the rest of the scene. The sound and others trying to replicate its greatness, yes, it can be a bit repetitive, but for a song to be able to hop from the 60s and 70s to new generations in the 80s, and now kids watching Ferris skip another day of school, hear the song while on a long road trip with nothing better to do than watch DVDs, that's some serious firepower. This song's great. So there are plenty of reasons to like the pop duo 76th Street. My favorite is that they have a genuinely indie pop sound that integrates soul and chemistry to make impactful statements with high energy sounds and rhythms. And especially in their song White Noise, it's a bit choppy, but only to make a point, whether in emotion or in its lyrics. They get a lot of comparison to Imagine Dragons, but I think that's a far cry from a true analogy of their sound, especially in the case of their song White Noise. They use a lot of synthesizer, yes, and it kind of moves the sound all over the place, but it's not necessarily dominant. Even when everything hits its peak, the vocals are still the triumph of the song. But it's how they use claps and drum sounds to push the beat and emotion to serene intensity. They match the synth perfectly. They create harmony, not only with the duo vocals, but also with the whole of the remaining instruments. I'd almost call this a rock song if only they had a bridge or a breakdown. But the beauty of this song is that it maintains the exciting rhythm throughout. Outside of maybe the first 5 seconds, the roller coaster ride of White Noise is nearly all thrill until you're left realizing that the song is over and you want to do it again. So it's really nice to be able to clearly understand the words coming out of a rapper's mouth. Now I'll admit, I do like some of the modern stuff. It's a unique sound that pushes the limits in a lot of cases, and it's super enjoyable. But I think the trap of that scene, of the mumble rap scene, is that it allows someone with genuine rap beats to come forward and show me what they've got. And that's certainly the case for Bag of Tricks Cat from Phoenix. He truly has a hold on this city. Steady, smart bass, moved around with little production. Even more great lyrics. Plus, it's great to take a classic sound, a sample, like Felix the Cat, which, on a side note, I think really plays well with his brand. Bag of Tricks Cat, Felix the Cat. If you listen to the song, it's got a lot of different classic elements, like he's super duper and extraordinary, and Bag of Tricks replies to these statements. I think it kind of strikes that sample up in a new way. Maybe that's the game nowadays, sampling other songs, making them your own. But the brand integration, a heavy use of phrases to make one's point, it's not just sampling. That's using strengths of all different elements to fuse a point, rhyme, and splendor together for your own benefit. I mean, this guy's been around a while. With the convent of this album, he claims the spot for me as the de facto Phoenix rapper. He'll be somebody to compete with years to come. His hustle is going to be hard to match. He's smart, entertaining, and tracks like 100 Years really get you going. So that's all we've got for the Phoenix episode. I was really hoping for some more EDM, especially how close it is to Vegas and LA. But we're going to get to that because we've got LA in a 3-part series next week. We're going to run through EDM and a few other sounds of the city. So that's 3Xs episode 10. Thank you all for being here for such a big point in this series. Remember, we've got a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can listen to us on Spotify. You can watch us on YouTube. And I'm super available over email if you guys would like to give me any sort of input. If I'm coming to your city and you would like to be on one of the episodes, let me know. But Phoenix, it's been fun. I'm Hayes Clement. We'll see you next time.